So yes, I was wrong about Captain America 4. So the new trailer came out and let's talk about it. So yes, I was wrong about this film, and it's quite funny because I made a video a couple of days ago before the trailer came out, basically stating how this movie is going to suck because everything was going against it with the reshoots, the budget rumors, and everything like that. It just looked like an entire mess of a movie. But the trailer came out, and you know what? I have been proven so wrong, and a few people who have watched my video after the trailer came out have been telling me, Lewis, you were really wrong about this movie, and yes, I was. This movie looks awesome. Let's talk about some of the things that I really like. So it looks solid. From the writing, the cinematography, and the action sequences, they all look reminiscent of the old MCU, and I'm talking about the Civil War era of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Winter Soldier era. Everything looks clean cut, nothing looks rushed, everything looks crisp, and it looks like it's going to deliver on all bases. Even the dialogue isn't cringy. Some of the dialogue in recent times in MCU movies has been very loosely strung together, very poor, more telling and not showing, but the dialogue seems to be doing its job in the best way possible here from what we can tell from the trailer. And those one-liners from Harrison Ford, who we will talk about a little bit later in the video, do hit hard as well. But touching on the cinematography and the camera work real quick, this is something that I feel like the MCU has kind of lacked. As of recently, I look towards examples like The Batman, which had incredible cinematography. It clearly was thought through, it had its own sort of style, its own sort of tone. But MCU movies have kind of all sort of followed the same formula as of recently. They all look bland, they all look kind of samey. Some people will point to occasionally really good shots from the few films that have done decent over the last few years, but all in all, most of the cinematography has been boring, bland, or uninspiring. But this trailer made Captain America 4 look like it's got some kind of tone behind it. It looks like it's got some kind of oomph to the camera work, the cinematography, the lighting. It looks really cool. And like I mentioned, from the writing and the tone that I get from this trailer, it's very reminiscent of the old Phase 3 movies, the Winter Soldiers, your Civil Wars, that kind of phase of the MCU. And of course, we can't go without talking about Red Hulk in the stinger at the end of the trailer. I cannot wait to see this character. It's going to be so awesome to finally see Red Hulk on the big screen. But speaking of Red Hulk, General Thunderbolt Ross, or as he'll probably be known in this movie, President Ross, played by Harrison Ford. Of course, it is such a shame, and rest in peace to William Hurt. Harrison Ford is doing an absolutely awesome job in this role. This is one of those roles that I was a little bit worried about because we know William Hurt was so iconic in that role. He's played General Thunderbolt Ross for so long now, and he wasn't as iconic as maybe Robert Downey Jr. is in the Iron Man role, but he was in that role for so long that he generally made it his own, and I couldn't see anyone else playing Thunderbolt Ross, but Harrison Ford looks like he's doing an awesome job. Not only that, Harrison Ford does a really good job of bringing the aura to General Thunderbolt Ross, and that's one thing I was also worried about. William Hurt had that kind of aura of Thunderbolt Ross nailed on. He's meant to be this very stern, almost intimidating figure, and this is something I was worried about the recast, but Harrison Ford executes this perfectly. Harrison Ford can play that intimidating figure very well, and I'm very glad that we've got Harrison Ford playing this character. So let's move on to the only gripes that I really have with this. And it's mostly just to do with the CGI and some of the color grading. Now, obviously, this is stuff that will be fixed more as post-production continues, so I'm not too bothered about this. CGI is always improving up until the release of the movie, and of course, they go back and recolor grade everything like a million times. We know this is just how film works, so I'm not too caught up on that. But obviously, some things do look a bit sketchy, but that will end up improving. And there is one more thing that I also picked up on about the story of the film, and you guys are going to have to let me know if I'm overthinking this, but one question I do have about the story is that the narrative position of making Captain America a full-time military position again kind of goes against everything Sam Wilson fought for during Captain America Civil War. Now, like I said, you're going to have to let me know if I'm overthinking this, or somewhere down the line that I've missed, they somehow rectified this point. But in Captain America Civil War, Sam Wilson was on the side of Steve Rogers, and Captain America was the spearhead against the Soviet Accords. And the Soviet Accords obviously meant that the UN would have control over all of the superheroes when and how they see fit. And this basically meant that the governments around the world leaders, world powers, could basically activate superheroes as they see fit. And Captain America was the spearhead against this because, as we know, some countries have differing agendas and maybe they wouldn't be able to step in when they see fit. Captain America obviously just wants to fight for good, and if the US government decides, hey, you shouldn't really be getting involved in this, but maybe Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, and everyone that fought on Cap's side kind of thought, yeah, maybe we should, then they could go and do so, and that's why they were fighting against the Accords. However, Sam Wilson becoming Captain America and then becoming a full-time military position again kind of does go against everything they fought for, because that means that Captain America, if he was a part of the military, would be under the jurisdiction of the American government. So does that kind of contradict the position of Captain America for the last few years? I don't really know. Am I overthinking this? Is this going to be a big talking point in the story? Probably. But if they do go through with it and there is no backlash from Sam Wilson or the opposing side, does this kind of mean that we're forgetting everything that happened in Civil War? I don't know. Let me know if I'm overthinking it in the comments below. But that's just something I picked up on. I'm sure the story will address this point because it's a pretty big point that can't go unignored. But anyway, let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about this Captain America 4 trailer? I want to hear all of your thoughts. Make sure to like the video. And if you enjoyed this video, then here's some other videos on the screen right now that you may enjoy. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care and peace.